Hello and welcome. So we're going to be talking about the cost to produce dog leashes and as well as the price and demand for those leashes in two different functions. So the cost is going to be this first one. The price demand will be the second. Now it asks for the profit function. Now typically profit is going to be taking the revenue and subtracting how much it costed to produce whatever item you sold. Revenue is how much you make selling stuff before the cost is taken out. All right. Now, what's kind of unique about this one is that it's talking about the cost function being its own thing, as well as the price, how much you're selling them for, as well as how many you're selling, the demand of those function, both being rolled into one thing. So the profit may not typically be what you would be used to. How to find the profit here is that when your price and demand is rolled into one function, you can find your profit by taking the cost times the price demand function. Right? When those two are together, you can actually just multiply it and you'll find your profit all in one go. So all we need to do is take our two binomials. So we have our 3x plus 9 times our 117 minus 3x. And whatever you get from this multiplication is going to be the function for our profit. So we have 3x times 117. So 3 times 117 is 351. 351x. And then 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. And then x times x squared. And then we have plus 9 times 117, and we get 1,053, and then minus 27x. Combine the like terms that can be combined, negative 9x squared, and then you have negative 27 and 351, so 351 minus 27 is going to give us 324, plus 153, there we go. All right, and that is going to be our profit function. So the profit per leash equals that function. All right, so negative 9x squared plus 324x plus 1,053. All right, now for this function, it says find the number of leashes which need to be sold to maximize your profit. Now, keep in mind that when you're graphing this, or if you were to graph this, it's going to look something like this. The negative in front tells us that this graph is going to be facing downwards, and we know it's going to be a parabola from the fact that it's an x squared. It's going to do something like that. All right, it'll be a downwards U-shaped graph. So when I'm looking at this, I'd say, okay, well, what's my x? X is talking about the number of leashes being sold, while the P of x represents the profit. All right, so that means that as I continue on my graph, right, I'm going to have this case where x is leashes, your y will be profit. If I want to maximize my profit, that means I want to go for where I find the highest amount of profit there is, aka that spot right there in the graph. Now, if you know anything about quadratics, you'll know that spot is called the vertex of the graph. There's a couple of ways to find it, right? You could take your two x-intercepts, and we know that the vertex is going to be smack dab in the middle of them. So you could set your function, p of x, to 0, right? And then figure out what two solutions of x there are, add them together, divide by 2, and that gives you the amount of leashes you need to maximize profit. Okay? Now, fun fact, if you have learned anything about the vertex, there's a shortcut for standard form, and that is negative b over 2a. And that finds you the x-coordinate of the vertex by using that negative b over 2a. So the b refers to middle number, so negative 324 over 2 times a. A is the number in front of your x squared. So then we have 2 times negative 9. So in other words, we have negative 324 divided by negative 18. Negative over negative is a positive. That entire thing, if you just chuck that into a calculator, simplify it up, we get 18. That means that if you sell 18 leashes, you have maximized your profit. right? That's as good as it gets. You should probably stop selling at 18 because at that point the demand's going to go down and you're not going to make as much money. All right. Now, it wants us to then find what the actual profit is. And you're like, okay, well, I know I need 18 leashes, but how do I find what the profit will be? Well, that's why we have a profit function, right? X is representing the amount of leashes, so literally all you need to do is just plug in the X into our equation. So the profit for 18 leashes equals -9 times 18 squared plus 324 times 18 plus 1,053. So I'm just going to go to my handy dandy calculator here, and I'll say, all right, so I'm looking for the -9 times 18 squared plus 324 times 18 plus, what is it, 1,054? 1,053. All right, and there we go. That means that if we sell 18 leashes for our business or whatever we're doing, we'll earn a profit of almost $4,000. It'll be $39.69. $39.69. Right, you're working with money, your units are going to be dollars. But there you go. That is how you would find your answer. Thanks for watching.